Christianity, Western Christianity, over the same issue of was Jesus God in the body and the spirit?
If Jesus was God, and how could he save his soul? Could he die? And he's not even a God, he's just a prophet. God sent him to take people off what's right.
Well, he could have saved himself from the Romans, but he chose not to because he wanted to save us.
No, because God is not that. God is up in the sky, he will never die and will never end and will never start up. I believe in that because I'm a Muslim. I don't believe all these righteous things. And God said, it's hard for us and it's hard for Christian, but you are eating it. There's a worm in that pig which kills people, makes idols. That's why all English people are ill. None of them are right. That's what I believe.
Anyway, but I want to get back to the point. I don't understand why you can't believe. So you're saying you're kind of pinpointed it when you said God is his body. Jesus was God. His body was God.
Meaning either all God, complete God, or was God, infused within a part of his creation, meaning that the body was created, but then God, the soul, filled that body and then moved around. So when the body died, it was the body dying and not God. That's, I can accept that one. Because this is where it seems that you're coming from.
Let me tell you something. I don't know, maybe many Christians say, there's a lot of things I don't understand. And there's things about Christianity, about life, about God, that I don't understand. In some ways, I'm glad that it's so, because if he's such a small God, and I can understand everything there is to know about him, I have a real problem. That's not the kind of God. That's not God to me. It's not right. And so, in some ways, there's things I don't. I can understand. I can understand I can understand relationship. I can understand the relationship between a father and a son. That is something I can understand. I can understand that God, a loving God, God, a loving God, will exist is not the right word either, I can't say, will be, maybe that's right, will be, because he's always been, represented or existed in three persons, because he's a God of relationship. I don't believe he's a distant God, he's a God who is living.
But do you believe that God is unique?
Certainly.
Okay. This is one of the basic characteristics of God, that he's unique. He is not like the things that he creates. The things that he creates, they share these common attributes. But God is unique. So when we speak about God being
and the Trinity,
being three persons, having parts, in fact. You see, then you're making God like his creation. Yes, we have aspects of our creation is like that. We have steam and ice, and we have water, we have the tree with its branches and its roots and its trunk. This is God's creation. But the only unique being is God. And he is not in the form of his creation. What you're doing when you're trying to say that he has his personality, you can understand it. You can understand why? Because yes, it exists amongst us. We are divisible. We have parts. We have aspects. We have an emotional being. We have an intellectual being. We have a spiritual being. These are human characteristics. These are the characteristics of his creation. This is not God. God is unique. He is God in the fullest sense. And part of that uniqueness is not have multiple personalities. We put people away in the hospital because of their multiple personalities. We say they're sick. This is considered sickness, multiple personalities. Human beings have that. This is not God. God is one God. The same one God who Jesus worshipped. Who he fell down on his face in the Garden of Gethsemane, falling down on his face in worship of that God. The same God who Abraham and Moses fell down on their faces and worshipped. One God.
He should be worshipped, I agree. God is almighty. But I have this question for you. I mean, do you believe you have a relationship, some sort of relationship with God? Okay, now, how is this relationship? I mean, is your only relationship to him that you obey his commands and you serve him? He's your master, you're his slave, and you're just obeying his commands. That's the only relationship.
I turn to him in my time of need. I call on him. I try to remember him, to guide me, to be aware of him, that the fact that he's looking over me, he's aware of what I'm doing, to help to guide me aright. I seek his grace. I know that it's only by his grace that I can attain salvation from this life.
But I have a personal relationship. Okay, but I have this question too. What is your concept of love in terms of a person loving another person? I mean, if you love somebody, will you spend time to be with them? Will you not? Will you go to be with them? I mean, say for instance you have a daughter, this little girl, she just came a few minutes ago. You love this stuff. You will go down to her and you will spend time with her. You will play with her. You will try to teach her. You will take the initiative. As a father, maybe you're her father. You take the initiative to go down. The little girl may come to you, but if she doesn't, I'll tell you what, you're going to go get her, aren't you? Are you just going to let her go if she wandered off? No, because you're the father. You go get her. And I have this question. In Islam, I believe you have the only way that you believe that God has come to you is through the Qur'an. Through the Qur'an and through the Hadith and through the Quranic, through the teachings of Islam. Is that correct? Is that the only way that God has come to you? Is just through the books?
What do you mean come to?
I'm just thinking, how did he come to you?
I mean, how did God reveal himself to human beings?
So
he revealed himself to human beings through the prophets.
Okay, through the prophets. Okay. But I have this in my mind. Is that
Through the prophets, all of the prophets?
that you know as a man or as a father, the way you would treat a daughter, the way you love her, the way you would chase her if she was running away, you would not wait for her to come to you if she was going to get hurt. You would go down and get her. Or even if she did something wrong. This little girl you love, maybe this little girl accidentally did something wrong and hurt somebody else. You would even go pay the person that your little girl hurt because you want your little daughter back to you, right? You might do that. That's a love. That is love. I believe God is a God of love, and I think He's giving more than just the Quranic teaching and the last prophet.
But it's not just that. It's also stated in the Qur'an that when God created Adam, the time of the creation of Adam, all of that creation, all of the human beings who would exist in this world were created at the same time in the spiritual form. And they were made aware that God was their Lord. So the revelation is a reaffirmation of that consciousness. So every human being who was born has as a part of his nature, a consciousness of God. The society may deviate, that individual, whatever, but that is there. Also, God sends signs to every human being throughout his life, throughout his or her life. So it's not that the person is left alone, that it's only